We learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had.
And to be praising Adolf Hitler is dangerous, and it's also disgusting.
So just to be clear, when you said we do agree, President Biden believes that Donald Trump is a fascist.
I mean, yes, we have said. He said himself. The former president has said he is going to be a dictator on day one. We cannot ignore that. We cannot. And we cannot ignore or forget what happened on January 6th.
It is deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans.
I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions, and I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Twilight Zone. I'm your guide, Anomaly. Just kidding. Welcome to the Dreamer Podcast. I'm back. I'll let you know what took me so long. Thank you for being here. But we're going to talk about a bunch of stories. The first two are going to be Kamala and Karine Jean-Pierre are pushing this story that Trump is praising Hitler secretly. We'll get into that. Eminem endorsed Kamala Harris with Barack Obama. I have some clips of that. Interesting stuff. And then I have two stories that you probably won't see in most places that I'm going to share at the end. Then we'll just kick it and talk. So Dreamer Podcast, give me thumbs up in the chat. Thumbs up for the algorithms. We're back, folks, on air. Hopefully, maybe we'll be on air after this episode. Who knows? Got some controversial stuff to say. Can you even put the name Hitler in a title? Because I did that. I don't know what else to do, but Dreamer Podcast starts now. Let's see.
It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles. Yeah.
What's going on, folks? Let's see who we got. We got Brett. We got Bunny Fontaine. That's quite the luxurious name there. Facebook user. I can't see your names for some reason. That's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I drop it on Donald Trump? Probably not. I'm Eminem and I put my PP behind a private rock and I hope my mommy's mom. It's like, all right, bro, we get it. You hate your mom. You told a bunch of white kids to do pills. And now you're endorsing Kamala Harris. Disgusting. But no, that's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I drop it on Donald Trump's poppy pop, poopy pop? Probably not. Should I do that? Should I drink it? Should I put it in the sink? It's like, bro, we get it. You're a Democrat, dude. Get over it. All right, that's a little off topic, but let's get into the first story, which is I personally believe, and I'm not just saying this. I'm not like someone that's like, I don't strap my beanie to my head. Sorry, Tim Pool's going to catch a stray at the beginning of this one, but I don't strap my beanie to my head and say Civil War, Civil War. Like some things are overblown, but I do think they're trying to get Donald Trump killed, and their new way of doing that is to try to push the narrative that he's like Hitler, which they've done before softly, but now they're just going really hard for it with a story that apparently was so unimportant to John Kelly for years that it just came out a couple weeks before an election. But here's Karine Jean-Pierre and whatever Kamala Harris talking about it.
And to be praising Adolf Hitler is dangerous, and it's also disgusting.
It is deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans.
So that's their new angle, is to basically say that Trump is privately praising Hitler. I have a few things to say. The first one being, if this were so true and so pressing and so horrific that, Trump is doing this privately, the guy, John Kelly, I think his name was, the chief of staff, he worked for Trump years ago. So you're telling me that he sat on this story, he didn't tell anybody until 2 weeks before an election. And it's like, hey, I just remembered that Trump said this, 3 years ago or 5 years ago or whenever he was still in office. So to me, that's what reeks of it being fake. And that's just obvious. Why would they do it? I think they're down in the polls. Trump is crushing it. I think, objectively speaking, or unobjectively, I don't know what you think of me, but I would say that I'm trying to be fair. I think Trump has campaigned incredibly over the last couple of weeks. I thought the McDonald's photo op, although seed oils are no joke, it was pretty funny and kind of epic. JD Vance is crushing on Theo Vaughn. You had Trump going on Joe Rogan. He did really good on Andrew Schultz. Like the Trump campaign, we got Bobby Kennedy talking about seed oils, saying that, you know, we need to get this stuff out of it. And he's playing to Trump's ego, which is good because Trump will hire people just because they like him. So now that we got people that actually care about health on our side, you know, we got Tulsi Gabbard, et cetera. It's kind of like the vibes are just like too much for Kamala to handle. And I think this is like their plan F, where it's like, you know, let's just keep calling him Hitler over and over, hoping that somebody will go after him again. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, I don't like to exaggerate or go too far, but I do think that's what they're doing. I think they just suck. You know, I'm going to make a video later this week or next week, long overdue, but I'm going to tell people why I'm supporting Trump or why I'm voting for Trump. I don't know if I'd call it support, but why I'm voting Republican for Trump. I was thinking about doing a policy video and being like this. I'm going to bring policy into it. Like, I'm not an idiot, but I really don't feel like over analyzing it, because at the end of the day, like the gist of it, outside of course, policy, is Donald Trump is a real person who you can at least talk to and you know where he stands for the most part. And he's, you know, movable on some topics, and he could speak for 2 hours with opposition there. Like Kamala, I don't even think she's capable of it. And Kamala, like, nothing's real. Everything's fake. Everything's a lie. How could we change stuff from within when we're just constantly being lied to and gaslit and run in circles? At least with Trump, he has an element of that. I'm not saying he's perfect, but you can be like, okay, the FDA sucks. You lied about the vaccine last time. You're taking money from donors. With Kamala, like, what do you even point to try to get something done? Because everything is just a lie and it's fake. So with this, obviously, they're doing it 2 weeks before an election to just try to make them look crazy, to get somebody to do something, or as a last-ditch effort to raise people to want to go vote for them. With that being said, you know, I don't know how to say this because I don't want to get it taken out of context, but in a free society where people don't exaggerate and try to constantly character assassinate you every 2 seconds, you should be able to, like, say, I'm just going to use someone else as an example because it's a little bit easier because the world's basically run by communists and Bolsheviks. But, you know, Stalin killed tens of millions of people. If you said, I hate everything Stalin did, but I want people that are loyal to me as loyal as they were to him, I get what you're saying. I probably wouldn't say it because I don't want to get taken out of context and my whole life ruined, but I'm not even saying Trump said that, because if he really said that, it probably would have been brought out 4 years ago. But you could say, like, you know, this is a way lighter example, but there's a lot of rappers that I think suck, but their beat is really fire, or their flow's fire, or their voice sounds cool, but I think the lyrics suck. You should be allowed to be like, I like this, this, and this, and not this. I know it's harder to do when you have dictators or people that are committing horrific atrocities, but you know, it's like, that's what they're saying he said, essentially. I don't think he said it, but it's like, I'm sure people have said similar things like in their daily life, where I just watched people on Twitter say, like, you know, I'm not saying this and this, but the speaking was good. It's like everything's got to be exaggerated and twisted so far out of proportion. I don't even think he really said it, but my, I don't know, semi-controversial take would be that you're allowed to pick, and like, it's like when people said Winston Churchill sucked, like all the people who must not be named melted down in Republican Twitter. They're like, how dare you say that? Because then they know if you pick one piece out of that story that you don't agree with them, then a lot of the rest of it starts to crumble down, and they don't want that to happen. So it's like, how dare you even say that? Where like, I don't know a more, I think I'm being pretty nice now. Like, I'm not offended by what people think and say. Like, I could disagree with it. I think their exaggerations are ridiculous and they're causing a lot of harm. But like, if someone were to pick out, like, I don't like the Democrats, but, you know, they're really good at lying. It's like, that doesn't mean you like the Democrats. Or, you know, I think the Democrats and the Uniparty, like, the lockdown was evil genius. I don't like it. I'm not a psychopath, but it was so high IQ that like most people weren't even able to keep up with all the deception. So you should be able to like compliment certain pieces of something and not have everybody exaggerate about what you said all the time. But that's assuming that he even said that, which I don't think he did. So I'm not going to make excuses for something that probably doesn't exist. Trump is super pro-Israel. His biggest donor right now is a Jewish Israeli lady who wants him to do stuff for Israel, but then we'll say it's probably anti-Semitism to say that that's happening. Elon Musk is giving a lot of money now too. But Trump is not Hitler. So, I mean, this whole like Trump is Hitler thing is just so stupid. It's just like dumbing people down. It's just the narrative that they want to push. And also, I personally, before I move on, I think that as I said before about Stalin and Mao Zedong, et cetera, that killed tens of millions of people, you never hear about them. Nobody uses their people or their references as examples. We're run under a world order, essentially, where everything is the other thing. And everybody uses that as an example, and they defend and they say, you're that. No, you're that. No, the left are the real racist. And it's like, personally, intellectually, I'm just tired of all this stuff because it's so low level. It's like going, it'd be like sitting in a third grade class and being like, look, I'm crushing my math exam. It's like, yeah, because all the kids are in third grade and you're 40 years old, grow up. That's how I feel about like calling everyone Hitler all the time. It's just so sophomoric, where the one guy that I remember recently, I'm not saying he's the only one, but the guy that Tucker Carlson had on the podcast, Martyrbait or Daryl something, I forget his last name. It's not even that I agree with everything that he said, but he was looking at the world from a way more intelligent, philosophical, like, let's actually talk about this and not just call everyone names. And look what happened to him. Like, they don't want you to have deep discussions, no matter what you're saying about anything. Everything's just stupid. He's Hitler, she's Hitler, the left's Hitler, the right's Hitler. It's just so played out. Like, everything's Hitler all the time now. And it's just dumb. It downplays everything, and it lowers people's IQ. So I don't know. Not surprised the Democrats did that. Let's get into Mr. Awfully Hot Coffee Pot himself. I'm going to put my pee-pee in a private rock, and I think my mommy's mad. It's like, all right, dude. We get it, bro. But here's Eminem with his extremely thoughtful endorsement of Kamala Harris, saying, if you want to say your opinion and not be looked at crazy, Kamala is your lady. It's like, bro, who wrote your speech? And fire them.
So I'm encouraging everybody to get out and vote, please. I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions. And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known. I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld. And here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
Yeah, if you want an opinion, vote for Kamala. Go to the fair and I bought my kid a Minion. I'm not voting. This ain't Dominion. Oh my gosh, I got an onion in my eye. I'm crying. Kamala's lying. Obama, he's flying. Shut up, dude. Whatever. Super chat. I stop like a political prostitute for $4.99. Hold on, slow down the show. Do I think Trump will win? I mean, right now, yeah, but I think they're desperate. I think he will win, but it's not over till it's over. So go vote or whatever they say. Someone said, "Who's this wigger?" Bro, don't say the W word. That offends me. It upends me. I'm not friendly. One time I ate a smoothie and a sundae at a Friendly's on a Sunday at a Friendly's. Then I went to Fridays on a Friday, and it's Thursday. TGI. Okay. No, that's my Eminem impression. But anyway, it's terrible purposely. Okay, I can rap better than that, but it's funny when I don't. What can you really say about that? I did an Instagram reel, a TikTok, a YouTube short, and a Facebook reel because you just can't do one thing anymore. All the kids are doing different things. So I upload my Facebook, my Instagram, and I did a minute clip where I basically was just like, you're going to act like the Democrats are the party of freedom? Really? That's the new talking point? It's like, if you want freedom, vote for Kamala. And he's looking down the whole time with his eyes up. I don't know if that's like the rapper thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if I came on my show and I'm like, yo, what's up, fam? Yo, vote for Obama. It's like, why are you hiding your eyes? Like, what do you mean, dude? It's a mom spaghetti, Kamala spaghetti on my sweater already. It's getting heavy. I'm nervous on the surface. I'm looking calm and ready to vote Democrat, but I keep on forgetting Detroit sucks now because Democrats suck at everything they do. It's like, if you can't even look at me when you're doing your speech, it's hard for me to think that you even believe what you're saying. Like his hat was over his eyes. His face was looking down. It's like, you sound so unconfident, because how could you possibly be confident and look someone in the eye and be like, the party of freedom's the Democrats, if you completely ignore all reality of censorship, of not just last election, COVID, and people were saying this in my comment section, like, Trump's the father of the vaccine. I know, I'll never let him off the hook. I'll never gaslight you. I'll never lie about that. But it was Democrat Governor Phil Murphy who made protesting illegal. It's like Facebook was censoring on behalf of the Democrat governor of New Jersey. The Democrats were even worse. That's not justifying Trump. That's not excusing what he did.
But the Democrats were way worse on the COVID censorship, on the COVID lockdowns. Like Trump would do the lockdown and Republicans would be like, yeah. And then Democrats would go psychopath with it. It's not excusing it. I'm just saying Democrats are not the party of freedom. Should I do one more Eminem before we leave? Democrats are the party of freedom. I'm smoking weed in the ether. And then my mom says, oh, you got my spaghetti in the freezer. Take it out. Believe me. And then I'm like, Mom, I hate you. I want all the white kids to hate their parents and take drugs because that's what I do. And then all the white kids did that. But anyway, true story. Eminem did inspire me to rap, so I do appreciate him. But now that I look back on it on an adult, a lot of his music is really childish. It's like, mommy, daddy, I hate my wife. It's like, why do you hate your wife so much? That's psychotic. It's like, is he really psychotic? Was it just like an op the whole time to just get people to like hate their family? I kind of think he was an op the whole time, but I'm still grateful because he was a good rapper. He is lyrically talented, putting words together, etc. Great poet, great flow. But as I got older, I was like, his content kind of sucks. Like, I'm not going to ride around in my 30s listening to like, mommy, I hate you. It's like, why do you hate your mom? Why do you hate your wife? Like, that's just weird. But anyway, I do appreciate the inspiration. I'm sorry about that. But one thing I want to show you guys before I move on real quick is people were posting the picture of him and Obama. And I found this other picture on a Eminem fan page, which I thought was interesting. It's him, Obama, and I think his name is Paul Rosenberg. And if you're an Eminem fan or you're not, I'll explain it to you like you are one. So I'll make it simple. Paul Rosenberg, I believe he's either Eminem's manager or agent. I'm not really sure what he would call him, probably manager. And the reason I know that is because Eminem would always talk about Paul Rosenberg in his songs. He would do Paul Rosenberg skits. And that's been basically Eminem's, I wouldn't call him handler, some would, but his manager since day one. So I just thought that was interesting that him, Obama, and Eminem were together because I don't know who's really calling the shots. Like, I know he worked with Dr. Dre. I know his manager is always Paul Rosenberg. I'm not going to point the blame at anybody because I don't know. But I do, now that I look at everything, I do think that Eminem has always been somewhat of a plant. Not like he isn't talented enough. He is, but they pushed him in the direction of telling kids to pop pills and act like degenerates and hate their wife and mom, which is a crazy thing to do. And if you really listen to early Eminem, like his album Infinite, he was talking about Christianity. He was like literally before the degenerate Eminem, he was a Christian. He was really lyrical and like had a positive message. And then it seems like the industry told him to be like a straight up demon. So the one thing that really made me think that Eminem was not only sold out, but just kind of like planty vibes to me was during COVID. If you look up, he has this pretty cool song with Kid Cudi. And in the song, he's like, you're wearing a mask at the grocery store and coughing on me. Like, he was pushing pro-mask lockdown policies in a rap song. Like, what? I didn't even hear a single other rapper rap about, like, you got to wear a mask or I'm feeling sick. So the fact that Eminem had that in a song, like, I don't know. I feel like he's got handlers or something. I mean, I don't know for sure, so I don't want to, like, falsely accuse. But, like, what type of rapper raps about, I'm in the grocery store and you're coughing on me without a mask? And I guess it's like, bro, this plant, plant. That's how I think about it. That's just where my head goes. But who knows? Speaking of them calling everything a conspiracy, before I get into some pretty deep stuff that trigger warning might offend some people. This is NBC News from like a year ago. Their headline was, Republicans float a quiet conspiracy theory that Biden won't be on the ballot. Ooh, that crazy conspiracy theory that Biden won't be on the ballot. Fast forward a year, Biden's not on the ballot. That conspiracy theory was right. Not saying every conspiracy theory is true, because there's a lot of idiots out there, especially on social media, that just literally say whatever they want, which is fine under the First Amendment. But being a liar for CNN or Fox News or just your own private Twitter calling yourself a truther, a lie is a lie. It doesn't matter. But the media calls anything a conspiracy theory or hate speech that they don't want you to think about. So this is what I try to do on my show. I don't think I have perfect execution by any means, but I want people to think about stuff, because there's times where even the Republican Party, it's like a thought crime. They're like, that's hateful. Don't even think about it. Don't think of it. It's like, you should think about it. You should think about the conspiracy theories and then use your brain to be like, that one is probably true. And this idiot on Twitter that's tweeting all this stuff is probably lying. It's like you're able to decide. And I don't believe every conspiracy theory that I see. But most of the ones the media says are conspiracy theories is them saying, don't talk about it, don't think about it. We don't even want to discuss it. We just want you to not think about it or discuss it. And that's what that word really means for them. With that being said, I saw this article, I believe it's in Times of Israel, where there was a Christian soldier for the IDF who died, and they don't want him to put the cross on his tombstone or headstone because they say that the cross is basically essentially defiling the Jewish cemetery. I mean, I don't want to take it out of context, so I'm going to read from the actual quote. And I want people, regardless of what you think, because of course I posted this story and I said, I literally just titled what it was. And I said, thoughts, right? That's all I said, thoughts. And then some people will say, oh, you really don't like Israel. Why is me posting a headline from the Times of Israel me not liking? See, this is what they do. If you come out as conservative, the liberals will say you're being hateful. You don't like things. You don't like black people. Like, they'll just start making stuff up. They're like, you hate Hispanics. You're like, I am Hispanic. You know, it's like one of those things. They'll be like, you hate blacks. And then you are black. You're like, I'm literally black. Well, they're like, I'm blacker than you. It's like, but you're white. But she's like, but I went to liberal arts school. It's like things get so crazy where it's like, how is me posting a headline hateful? Because some people hate the truth. Okay. And it's not just Democrats. And it is what it is. Like, the truth sounds like hate speech, or edgy discussions that they don't want you to have sound like hate speech to people who hate the thought of you thinking about that. It's a thought crime. How dare you think that? How dare him say that on Tucker Carlson about World War II? How dare you? That's a thought crime. You know that you're not supposed to go there. Go there. Yeah, it's like, okay, but this really happened, and I think it's worth at least discussing. It doesn't make you hateful, but people are going to lie about you, and it is what it is. It doesn't really bother me anymore. I just find it odd and worth discussing. Anyway, the headline is Family of Christian Soldier Who Fell in Gaza Asked to Remove Cross from His Headstone. And a quote that I pulled out from the article, okay, it's the Jerusalem Post, not Times of Israel. Sorry about that. It says, this is especially important in the Haifa military cemetery where fallen Jewish soldiers are also buried, the ministries added, citing a ruling by the IDF chief rabbi that states the holiness of the Jewish cemetery is harmed by the cross. So some people who didn't believe me were like, oh, you're taking it out of context. I read the full article. The family is claiming that there's other religious symbols in the cemetery and that he should be allowed to have his religious symbol. I'm not saying you have to agree with my stance on this. And I don't even know that I have a stance on this. I'm not Israeli. I don't live in Israel. I don't work for the IDF. So they could do what they want. Of course, they're doing it with our taxpayer dollars, which is interesting. And then you can't have an opinion about it. People are like, stay in your own lane. Okay, then you stay in your own lane and not take $100 billion. Oh, you want to? Okay, then I guess we're in the same lane then. But anyway, with that being said, I don't even know if I'm saying what they're doing is wrong, but a lot of people will be stunned when they see that, you know, especially a lot of boomer Zionist Christians who were basically raised off of pastors feeding them the banker funded Schofield Bible. And they'll be like, I don't like, why would the cross defile or ruin the sanctity of the Israeli? It's like, do you not know yet? You don't know yet? You don't know what they think about your religion and your God? No, you haven't figured it out yet. You haven't done enough research. Like, I'll just listen to interviews where people will talk to, I'm not saying everybody agrees with this because there's pastors that disagree and imams that disagree. I'm not saying it's a complete monolith, but in general, when you listen to a lot of, not all, but some public rabbis, and you say like, when did anti-Semitism start? They'll say 2,000 years ago. And then I start putting the pieces together and it's like, a lot of people think Jesus was the original anti-Semite and his followers are anti-Semites. And people will be like, well, he was Jewish. Read the Bible. Yeah, he was, but also his teachings were hated by a certain group of people at the time. And there's plenty of passages for that. So I'm not telling a foreign country what to do or their thing what to do, but it's just fascinating that we'll give them hundreds of billions of dollars. A person of a religion that a lot of people that watch my show share are not even able to put their religious symbol if they die for the military that they're serving. But then in America, if that were to happen, as people will point out and say, what if that happened here? It wouldn't, because people would get sued into oblivion. It's not a two-way street. And I'm going to show another clip of somebody at Facebook because I think it really drives this point home. Everybody's allowed to think what they think, do what they want to do, have different countries, etc. But in America, there is a constant pressure coming systemically to basically label it hate speech to have these tough conversations about race and religion, because certain people and certain authorities and certain political parties and groups, etc., They hate when you figure out what they're doing. They hate when you want to have the same conversation that they're doing. They hate when you suggest that it should be equal, or at least the conversation should be equal. So I think this story, before I move on, it's going to open a lot of eyes. I mean, some are going to be permanently closed, but it's like, think about that. This guy dies for a foreign military, and they say that his religious symbol is harming the holiness of their cemetery. Why? Not all, because I'm not going to say that, but a large portion of a certain race and religion hate Jesus and hate Christians. Okay? Not all. Not going to say it's half or whatever. I don't know. It's not zero. Okay? So, but you're not allowed to say that. But I just did. So I don't know. See what happens. Next story, Glenn Greenwald pointed out, so did a lot of people, a longtime senior Israeli government official and now Netanyahu Likud advisor Jordana Cutler is the chief of Facebook's U.S. censorship unit on Israel and Palestine. She repeatedly and aggressively uses that position to demand censorship of Israel critics. So who is this character, Jordana Cutler, who is the chief of Facebook's U.S. censorship unit on Israel and Palestine? Well, I found a video on Twitter where she speaks publicly, and she calls herself a Jewish diaspora. That's her title that she's given herself at Facebook. And it's interesting to see why she's censoring, how they're quashing hate speech, and also what groups they're working with to do that. So we're going to do a little deep dive on this because I don't know. Hopefully this is considered journalism and not hate speech, because I'm posting this on Facebook. So wish me luck.
One of the privileges I have in my role, which I created very uniquely, I don't think there's another person in a tech company with the title Jewish diaspora. I'm very happy for some competition if anyone else wants to try. But one of the privileges I get in that job is to really sit with Jewish communities around the world and think about how can I empower what they're saying on a local level and figure out how we can, on a global platform, find answers to that. And some of that is definitely working on those content issues that you mentioned earlier about removing content that is hate speech or targeting Jews or things that make Jewish people feel unsafe. And we spend a lot of time working with partners around the world to make sure we're getting it right, whether having things like Holocaust denial and distortion not allowed on our platforms, having a very nuanced policy on not allowing even harmful stereotypes of saying Jews run the world called out as hate speech, always looking at code words like you mentioned earlier and making sure to update our policy. So we spend a lot of time on that.
So there's a lot to unpack there, but I'm going to start with her title, right? The title that she called herself, the Jewish diaspora at Facebook. Is there a Christian diaspora? Is there a European diaspora? Is there a black diaspora? No? Are they the only group that get a diaspora position to censor? So they're censoring people on Facebook on behalf of a foreign nation and one race and one religion, and saying that they're doing that is a complete conspiracy theory or something. Anyway, I had to look up what diaspora. I've heard the word before, but I wanted to be sure. It means people who have been spread or dispersed from their homeland. What's fascinating about this is, she's basically admitting, and I believe, according to Glenn Greenwald, she worked with the Israeli government. So in her title at Facebook, a U.S. company, or supposed to be, is the title she gave herself, diaspora, which basically means I'm dispersed among the lands, but my homeland is over there. But what even you suggesting that that's happening is considered hate speech, because one of the anti-Semitism laws that they're passing around the world and in every state, and the Republicans are completely in on, except for Thomas Massie, it says that you're not allowed to accuse a Jewish American citizen of loyalty to Israel. So in her title that she's given herself on Facebook to censor people on behalf of her race, her religion, and a foreign country that she basically serves, is you're not allowed to say that she's doing that. Like, she's like, I'm doing that. That's my homeland. I'm doing all this. And you're like, but the anti-Semitism rules that you're enforcing, that are being enforced around the world, say that you're not allowed to say that you have loyalty to that country when you created a title at a U.S. company that says that you are. And then it's like, I'm working with, she'll say later, the World Jewish Congress to censor people who are saying that we have control in the world. It's like the lack of self-awareness and the self-accountability are stunning. I'm not blaming or pointing the finger. I'm not a victim. I don't care. It's not like I'm not offended by what she's saying. I'm not hurt. I'm not whatever. It's just like, you're like there's no self-awareness, there's no self-accountability. And if you ever suggest, hey, I think an ounce of self-awareness of how you're going about this, or an ounce of self-accountability to not call it hate speech, for people to say what you're literally admitting right here on the camera, like, I think an ounce of self-awareness and self-accountability would go a long way. If you ever even suggest that, it's like, whoa, how dare you? No, it's everyone else's fault all the time. This is fine. It's like, sure, it's fine. I don't care. I don't own Facebook, but making a name for yourself at an organization called diaspora, which means dispersed from our homeland, when you worked for that government, and then in the anti-Semitism laws being passed in America, it says that you can't say that someone of your ethnicity has loyalty to the country that you're literally saying you have loyalty to. I don't personally, I'm just going to say for now, I can't speak like historically or whatever. I didn't live at all times, and I'm not trying to downplay any event, because literally that will get you thrown in prison in most countries, but maybe not most countries, but some. It's like, I'm not a jealous person. I'm not a hateful person. So like, nothing about people's success or their power or their money, like nothing about that. I'm not enticed by that, right? It's not like, oh, you get to run Facebook, I'm jealous. I'm not that person. I don't care. I'm happy. I'm grateful. I feel blessed, and everybody plays their role in life, and I'm happy. With that being said, it's like, it's the deception and the subversion that I see in the current day that's bothering a lot of people. Like, if you own a lot of stuff, it's like, whatever. But if you own a lot of stuff and then use the stuff that you own to create positions that say that you have loyalty to another country, and then you're enforcing laws that say that it's hate speech to say you have loyalty to another country, that's the part that's really annoying a lot of people. And the constant opposition to people like this that are basically using their position of power to push lopsided racial and religious and foreign country laws, and then say that it's hate speech to say that they're doing it. I'm watching on social media, and I'm just being honest, and I'm trying to help the situation. The opposition and the disgust and the amount of people that are just getting annoyed by this is growing rapidly every single day, because there's just no self-awareness and self-accountability from not only people like this, but people in liberal and conservative media that are just comfy with the money they've got. They're comfy with the donor meetings they have, and they don't want to rock the boat, because they're like, I'm crushing it in this system. But as you look in America, the American system's not crushing anymore. It's the same reason foreign policy, no one really pushed back that hard against foreign policy 20 years ago. Some people did, but it never really got steam, because the country was good and most people, it wasn't affecting them. Now that people can't afford groceries, everything's getting expensive, nobody's nice anymore, and things aren't being made properly. Now people are becoming more activist because the country sucks. So it's like, when the country's nice, people tend to care less about things overseas than they do now. Now there's a lot more critics of it, and it's more mainstream because it's just so obvious. That's what I'm saying with stuff like this. Before I play the second clip, I'm not justifying any hate, anything. Like, that's not what I'm doing here at all, and I don't want it to be misconstrued that way. But when you have a woman who is Jewish, who apparently worked for a foreign government, giving herself a position at Facebook, calling herself a diaspora, which basically means scattered amongst other lands away from my homeland. So your homeland's Israel. So you have loyalty to Israel? Oh, you can't say that, even though it's true, because that's against the anti-Semitism hate speech rules that DeSantis is passing, that Trump is passing. Try to pick a country or a city in your head and search the IHRA anti-Semitism rules, which are basically the global Jewish Israeli speech laws that are being passed all over the world that say that you can't say what she's saying on her own video. It's like, obviously people are going to figure out what you're doing, and they're going to be like, no, that's dishonest. It's not like people are just waking up right now being like, oh, I'm just going to be hateful. It's like, no accountability, no awareness, like just complete ridiculousness like this. I don't care what you do, but at the same time, it's like, the same thing with the race stuff. Nobody really cared about race in America, but when every commercial showing interracial relationships and then BLM, and people are burning stuff down, and they're saying, if you want to support the tie shop that just got burned down, and not have people burn it down, that you're with the people against George Floyd, like all the overstimulation, like radicalism of the left and of racial politics, and the lopsidedness of it, where it's like, we can organize based on race, but you can't, because that's racist. We can say that we're going to outpopulate you, but if you say it, it's a conspiracy. It's like, that's what made more people not care about this topic. Is very similar to that, where it's like, it's not, and I'm not going to speak for anybody, because there's some assholes, there's horrible people, absolutely, on all sides, and especially this side, but it's like everybody didn't just wake up like mad or angry. That's not really what's going on. It's the lopsidedness of it. Having one race and one religion that passes speech laws in America that works at almost every tech company to lobby for more censorship against the First Amendment, admitting it publicly, but then pointing to you and saying that you're a hateful conspiracy theorist when you repeat what they literally just said. Like, you can have a position where you're the chief censorship for your race, your religion, and the country that you work for, but then also to support groups and organizations that push speech laws that say that it's hate speech to say what you just said. Like, it's ridiculous. I'd have more respect for people if they just came out and said, I like this country, I'm loyal to both countries, or I have loyalty to this. Okay, that's not crazy to me. I have friends from other countries that wave the flag of their other country. I'm an American, I'm loyal to America, but I'm just saying, like, people's loyalty doesn't bother me. Just be honest about it. It's like the guy that tells you what he really believes. If he tells you he's a Broncos fan, but he's really a Raiders, you're just confusing me. It's just fake. It's just stupid. So it's like, I don't care that she's doing this at Facebook. I mean, I don't think it's the most ethical American way to censor things, especially when there's a war going on and you have someone who basically worked for one of the militaries. Yeah, it's not the most ethical way to censor a social media company, but the world's not perfect. I'm just being honest on my podcast. This is a podcast. I talk. This is my opinion. I think it's crazy to do. It's not that doing all those things is crazy. It's that doing all those things and then saying that it's hate speech to say that you're doing it is crazy. But, it is what it is. That's their choice. Hopefully this report is not considered hate speech. But here's the second part of what she said, saying that as her position of Jewish diaspora at Facebook, she is working with the World Jewish Congress to quash people who say that her ethnicity and the groups that she's working with have any control in the world or something. I mean, I don't know. I guess, like, you can't say that they're doing any power grabs or something. I don't know.
And I think it's important just to mention that. But also, how can we use our product to drive people to authoritative information about issues like the Holocaust? So one of the partnerships I'm really proud of is one that we have with the World Jewish Congress and UNESCO. So any people on our platform that search for terms about the Holocaust or Holocaust denial are given a box that explains what the Holocaust was. So we take that real estate opportunity right there on your phone to tell you what it was. And then we encourage you to leave Facebook and go to this website that has factual information. And so, again, there's things that we can do in terms of removing content, but then also pushing good information to people. And that's on the Facebook side of things and Instagram. Then we can think about, you mentioned Anne Frank, what can we do in our new platforms? What can we do when we're looking at the future, not just of VR, virtual reality, but also augmented reality, AR, and then XR, which is mixed reality. So in all of these different formulations of what we look at as the metaverse, what can we be doing?
All right, so I'm going to play a clip from the president of the World Jewish Congress. Most people don't even know there's a World Jewish Congress, but the Jewish diaspora, as she calls herself at Facebook, is now working, who apparently worked for Israel at one point, according to Glenn Greenwald. She is working with a World Jewish organization, and this is the president saying that, well, I'm not going to put words in his mouth. Let's just listen to the clip.
All world leaders, all politicians must lead in this effort. Words are not enough. Political speeches are not enough. Laws must be passed, severe, tough, real laws that will put these hate mongers away in prison for a long time.
So yes, that is the president, I believe his name is Ronald Lauder, of the World Jewish Congress, saying that he wants harsher anti-Semitism laws around the world that put people in prison. In Germany and other European countries, you already go to jail for anti-Semitism. In America, there never were anti-Semitism speech rules being passed through legislation and for law, of my knowledge, because America has the First Amendment, but because of, can you say this, Zionist lobbying of both sides, Trump, DeSantis, all of them, they're all pushing these IHRA anti-Semitism rules into law further and further. It doesn't work in America very well because we have the First Amendment, but pushing it further in makes it harder to get out. So I don't know what their end goal is, but I believe they want to throw people in prison in America. So you have a World Jewish Congress saying that they want people to be jailed for anti-Semitism speech, working with the Jewish diaspora of Facebook, as she calls herself, who is a special position that She is going to limit hate speech and words and code words or whatever of people saying stuff and redirect their searches with the help of this World Jewish Organization. And one of the examples that she used that is hate speech and a stereotype that she doesn't want said on the platform is that, her ethnicity and her religion controlled things while she's literally controlling things. I'm not saying she runs the world. She runs her section of Facebook, right? Zuckerberg owns Facebook. There's other social medias that do other stuff. I'm not saying she doesn't run the world, but it's like to have control, pushing to say that you don't have, it's just like, it's nuts. And all I'm saying is like the people that don't want to think about this or talk about this, I'm just being 100% honest. Like I've watched over the last 5 years, millions upon tens of millions of people go from never thinking about this stuff to all they want to do is talk about it because of this is what they see every single day, all the time, because it just keeps happening more and more. And people keep pushing further and further to censor speech, lopsided, but not give you the same freedom and, I guess privileges for your religion or your ethnicity. It's called hateful when you do it. And then it's called, activism when they do it. It's only not working. Like, I don't know what else to really say, but it's like, her trying to rig a search to lead people to websites that she wants to hear, like that's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not really like and if you go crazy with the censorship, then it just makes people think even more. Like, during COVID, so many people woke up to the pharmaceutical industry because things got so extreme that they're like, oh, now I should probably question it. Now everybody does. So it's like, I don't know what exactly people are going for, but it's, I've seen the amount of people that want to ask questions increase dramatically, not because they just woke up hateful, but because the lopsidedness has gotten so obvious that it's hard to, like, you have to either have an IQ below 80 or be so brainwashed by like a pastor who had the Schofield Bible or something to not at least think about this. I don't care what country you support or whatever. Like, that's not what I'm asking. It's just like, think about what I'm saying. Everybody is at this point. With that being said, before I move on, Elon Musk tweeted recently about the Anti-Defamation League, and he said that they're pushing anti-white hatred. And this last point before I move on to something else, and then I'll just chat with you guys, I really want people to listen to what I'm saying because it's profound, and you're not going to hear it that often. Elon pointed out that a Jewish organization was pushing anti-white hatred a couple days ago. I don't know. I'm sure he's fine. But last time he did this, he noticed that not all, because this isn't true to everybody. I'm not stereotyping or saying that everyone's doing this, but there are certain, or at least this is what Elon said. He noticed that certain Jewish organizations were pushing white hatred. That's what he said. And you know what they called him? An anti-Semite. And you know what he had to do? Fly to a foreign country with Ben Shapiro and rabbis and go on an apology tour. Or at least that's what he did. I don't know if he had to, but he did that. And this is the point that I want to make, and I'm going to say it slowly and clearly because it's the truth. They call it anti-Semitism if people are perceived to be hating on Jewish people. That's called anti-Semitism. What's it called when you notice that certain Jewish groups and Jewish people are hating your ethnicity or your religion? It's also called anti-Semitism. It's anti-Semitism no matter what happens. If you notice that these groups and these organizations and these people, not all, but some, the number's not zero, it's still called anti-Semitism because it's anti-Semitism, according to the groups and organizations that make the rules, it's anti-Semitism to even notice that they're doing it. It's not equal, okay? If they perceive that you're hating on these groups, it's anti-Semitism. If you notice factually that they're hating on you ethnically, it's also anti-Semitism because how dare you even point it out? Who do you think you are to tell the truth about that, dummy? Go on a Ben Shapiro apology tour. That's the reality of the order we're living in. It's not hate speech. I'm not jealous. I'm not angry. Don't care. Just talking. Just saying. That's the truth. Until people figure that out, it's going to be constant games. Speaking of constant games, and then I'm going to get to another one. I just saw Thomas Massey tweet this, and just as I was going live, I was like, I might as well just include it because Thomas Massey was tweeting something about Israel, and this guy, Jordan Sachtel, I think he's a conservative news analyst guy or the journalist. I guess he was arguing with Thomas Massey, and Thomas Massey said, "Is this you?" And he showed Jordan Sachtel, who was in some sort of expose documentary where he was describing his secretive work for the state of Israel. I like Jordan. I think he did excellent work during COVID. Seemed like an awesome guy. I could tell he's super Zionist and pro-Israel. I don't care. I never thought badly about the guy at all because he did great work for America during COVID. He blocked me out of nowhere. And the thing is, you could block anybody. I don't care. But I kept thinking to myself, why is he why is he so intolerant to what I'm saying, even though it's true? And I'm not intolerant to what he's saying. He could be pro-Israel, he could push this, he could even go extreme in that and like say all this stuff. I don't care. I get it. He's probably Jewish, maybe not, but it's like he likes Israel. Cool, I have a lot of friends who like Israel. It's not a big deal to me. But I'm like, why would he block me when we were cool on COVID and we're all working together? And then, Thomas Massey points it out, and I'm like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. Now it makes more sense. It's like I'm trying to just be like, we're all trying to crush, and we're working in the same, but it's not always that way. So a lot of interesting stuff going on in politics and media. That's my show for today. And if you have any questions, I guess before I get into comments and stuff, I'll just let you guys know what's going on with me. And then we'll keep it moving. So I was not here for a month. I had a lot of stuff going on. I was in a wedding, so I flew to another state to be in a wedding. I was the groomsman for my friend's wedding, and it was a beautiful wedding. I had a great time, and I told people for a while, I'm ready for my next move. I've been where I'm at now for years, and I'm ready for something else. I'm ready to not expand my business like a psychopath, like, I need to take over the world or anything, but like I started doing this 6 years ago. I'm not going to bore you guys with my story, but it's like I was working other jobs like 5 or 6 years ago. Like I haven't been doing this that long. And then COVID happened like right when I started making money and doing it full time, like right in that same area. I don't know the exact time. And everything's kind of been a blur since then. It's like COVID, lockdown. I liked where I moved out of Los Angeles. I got out of there, but it's like I've been working out of, I'm just going to be honest, like this is my living room. I live in a 1-bedroom. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm like, I don't even have a living room. I don't even have a couch. Like I've been sacrificing a lot just to do these videos. And it's not like, oh, I'm such a victim. I'm just ready for more space and like really try to strategically like make my business model to the point where I could be successful and have fun and enjoy doing it. And a lot of things happened over the last years, like, health is wealth. So anytime I had health issues, I really focused on that. My family, I love my family. So anytime like my mom wants to do something or my dad wants to do something, I just fly across the country and do it. Like I'll take financial losses. I'll, miss work. Like my family's so important to me, and just like quality time with my family, especially since I moved to LA in my 20s and I ran away to make my dreams come true. It's like I prioritize that. So a lot of stuff going on. One, I'm going to be moving, getting more space, setting up like a more legit studio backdrop and stuff. It's not going to be like so crazy that it's like unnecessary, but more space so I could actually have room and strategically try to do stuff out. So I went to a wedding. I stayed around trying to look for apartments and stuff and just look for houses if I wanted that. And then I went on a cruise with my mom as well. But in that month, I just wasn't here for a month. I was away doing all of that, trying to find a new apartment, sign a lease, visit my family, be in a wedding. And it was a great month, but that's like where I was. And, I want to get serious this next year and really just do things properly and have fun. I'm having fun now because I took a break, but when I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, it's not that this isn't fun. I'm not trying to have like a meltdown or anything, but it became not fun, not because it's not fun. It's like the most fun job if you do it right. I've been doing it alone, and it got isolating at a certain point. And then it's like, basically, I'm trying to describe this in a way like Spotify used to pay people a decent amount. And then Spotify started just taking the money out of it. I don't make that much money from Spotify, but it's like they just nickel and dime you and they get you attached to their platform. And then they start taking the money and you can't do anything about it because you're still making money there. That's kind of how social media feels to me. It's not like devastating or anything, and you got to create other business models. But it's like I have a huge following on Instagram, right? I got almost 500,000 followers. I get hundreds of thousands of comments. Like my value is extraordinary. I feel like I have one of the most engaged accounts on Instagram. Go look at it. But they don't pay. And that's not like poor me, I'm such a victim. It's just like I got to figure out the right business model, because I was used to for a while just do content. It gets a lot of views, they'll pay you. You don't got to think about it. But then they took that model away, and it's like post memes, post reels, do this. We're not going to pay you for the reels, but you'll get the subscribers for the reels. And then you got to do this and you got to do that. It just got too much where I'm trying to do like 7 videos a day, and I just got fried. I feel great now, but it's like, that's my goal is I want to move. I want to get away from taxes that are unnecessary. I want to get closer to my family. I want to have a small team, not a very small one, but like do things so it's fun again. And I don't have to just like run in directions. So that's like all of what I've been doing, like spending time with family, looking to make a move. And I'm super excited about it. It's been long overdue, but COVID 2 years just flew like that. And I didn't know what I was doing. Like sometimes I need like an in to figure out like where I'm going, what I'm doing. And I got that. And yeah, I'm pumped about it. So that's the story. That's where I was at a wedding, stayed around for a couple weeks in different places, looking for places to see if I wanted to move there. Saw my family for a week, went on a cruise with my family. And yeah, I've been doing that over the last couple years, not just cruises, but like anytime someone in my family wants to do something, I just do it. Like I have the flexible job in the family. I saved up enough money where I'm not going to like go broke or anything. So it's like, if I got it, time and health is more important than money. So I just go for it. Someone said your music is great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I have a new song next Friday. I think it's the best song I ever written. It's called 9 Minute Masterpiece. It's 9 minutes long, straight bars. I think I'm not trying to like overhype it, but like, I wanted to make the best rap song that I've heard in a while. Cause there's a lot of cool songs and there's great songs and stuff, but I'm like, I want to make the best song. That's the most impressive. That's the realest, that hits the hardest. And I think it's the best song I ever did. And my goal making it, not to like be cocky or over ambitious, but I'm trying to make like one of the best songs of the decade. Not saying I accomplished that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to other hip hop artists, but that's what I went for. And I'm extremely happy with the results. So that's coming out in a week. And I hope that it's my most profound song I've ever created. If the results reflect that, only time will tell. We'll see. But I feel good about it. Someone said P. Diddy has a record deal for you. That's an awfully hot P. Diddy coffee punch, and I'm pumping on my poo-poo spot. Probably not. I'm at a P. Diddy pump. And I'm just kidding, but nah. Hopefully, I think those days are done as far as P. Diddy record deals. Thank you, Peggy. I appreciate it. McDonald's French fries saved 100 million lives. Listen, okay, I'm not being disrespectful to every employee at McDonald's, but when I went, I'm the most handsomest McDonald's employee of all time. That's what a woman told me. She happened to be black. I'm just saying, I'm not a racist, but that's what she was. She was black. And she said, "Oh, Donald, you look so good in your golden suit with your golden hair." And I said, "Wow, thank you, black lady. I appreciate you. Are you going to vote for me and get the blacks for Trump?" I'm just saying, I'm not a racist, but I like the Mexicans too. And the Arabs are going to vote. Oh, Dick Cheney. Oh, Kamala, Dick Cheney. You remember them bombing you, right? Vote for Trump, okay? I'll give you French fries. Dude, the French fry thing was awesome. I'm not a big fan of McDonald's, but like that, I thought that was funny. The last 2 weeks, the energy just feels so high level. Like I'm an energetic guy. Like I go with my instinct too. There's a lot of like mainstream people that obviously I don't trust because I'm right about everything. No, I'm just kidding. But I like Tucker Carlson. I like Elon Musk. There'll be people that are mad at that. Oh, why do you like Elon? I'm not saying to put a brain chip in your head and go, to the Antarctica with them. I'm just saying the energy. I like Elon Musk. I like Tucker Carlson. Trump with the French fries. It's not healthy, but it's funny. It's just a fun time. I go off of vibes. Obviously, I pay attention too, but it's like, we'll see. The energy right now is, in my view, get Trump in office and then use our leverage to get him to do cool stuff. He's easy in some ways to flatter if you're loyal to him. He's got a lot of cool people around him. Even JD Vance. When JD Vance got chosen, you can rewind if you ask, because if I were to choose Trump's vice president, I like Thomas Massie. He's like the only one I like in Congress. Personally, he's my favorite person by far. But that's not an option. I don't live in La La Land. It's like, who do you want as your leader? Willy Wonka. And then Charlie could be the vice president. That's not the world we live in. Willy Wonka can't be president. And I'm not saying that Thomas Massie can never be president, but it's like, I don't live in the fantasy. So when Trump gave out his list of vice presidents and I looked at them, I thought to myself, JD Vance is probably the best one out of his list. He's better than Marco Rubio. He's better than, the Doug Burgum, the Bill Gates guy. Ben Carson, debatable, but look at JD Vance talk on podcasts and the conversations he's having. He's very chill. He's very authentic. He's definitely been a politician, and you don't have to agree with everything he's done. But I think JD Vance was the right choice, and I said it was at the time. It's the right choice for the moment. It's not the perfect reality. You know what I'm saying? Like the perfect America would be Thomas Massey as the president. We don't live in that country, but eventually, possibly you could get to that country if you work your way there. Like we don't just get what we want overnight. So I think JD Vance is killing it. And I listened to him on Theo Vaughn. I thought it was great. And I thought that he sounded even more normal than most politicians. Like most politicians, they talk like even you know, in my view, no disrespect, but like I'm not trying to like go down this rabbit hole forever because I know this guy's going to be successful in politics and I think he deserves to be. But Vivek Ramaswamy, like I can't listen to the guy. He just sounds fake to me, right? I don't trust him at all. But he's talented and he deserves a career. He'll have a career. Whether like I want him to be successful because he deserves it in the pool of people there. But you listen to JD Vance, like he sounds 100 times more authentic. Like he's cool. I just like the way he sounds. I like the way he like laughs and stuff. Like he didn't sound like he was putting on an act or trying to sound super professional. He was real loose and just like normal. I like him. Like people are like, I wish Vivek was vice president. Like I don't, but he's gonna be successful eventually, you know, and that's fine. I just like it's just my opinion. Someone said, let's see. Looks like Judy Van looks like he's wearing eyeliner and it's very feminine. You're calling him Judy Van instead of JD Vance. That's kind of funny. Anyway. Someone said, I almost forgot he was a politician during the Theo Vaughn interview. He killed the Theo Vaughn interview. I'm just here to call strikes and balls. People can say what they want. I'm not asking you to trust him or take Peter Thiel money. It's just like, he's a good vice president. And use our energy. This is my view too, because sometimes I could be like a rebel rouser. Like, I don't want to play ball with you guys. I'm doing my own thing. I have no problem doing that. I'm not like let's all lie together. Like you've seen what I've done. A lot of people still hate me because they're like, you're unloyal. No, I reported the truth about COVID, whether it went in the favor of Trump or not. And some people respect me for that and others don't. It's whatever. But I came out fine from that. With that being said, the energy of now, it does feel different. And I'm not naive. I could see Trump doing a big nothing burger, but this is not the 2020 campaign. And I want to say this to people who are like obsessed with Trump too, who think like about 2020. I'm not saying no funny business happened in 2020. I think it did. But he didn't run a good campaign. His campaign sucked. Compare Trump's campaign in 2020 to 2024. This campaign is way better. Like everything about it's better. He sucked in 2020. You know, he was playing it real safe because of COVID, and he's not a guy who should play it safe, in my view. This campaign's awesome. Elon Musk, better vice president than Mike Pence, way cooler. He's going on all the podcasts. Tulsi Gabbard's on his side now. RFK is talking about seed oils and changing the pharmaceutical industry. And Trump is not an ideologue. This is what people don't understand. He's not like, he did mess up during COVID and he did lie pathologically and it's psychotic. He's insane. But with that being said, he's not ideologically attached to what he's saying during COVID. He's just doing it because he did it and he's just stubborn. It doesn't make it right. It makes him probably a sociopath. But now that RFK's on his side, remember what everyone was saying about RFK. And this is what I want to point out too. I always told you the truth about RFK. Yeah, if he gets in office by himself, which he's not, he'll probably pick Democrat judges and do some weird stuff. However, I just told everybody that liked RFK, it's not a real campaign. I said a year ago, he should drop out and endorse Trump. That's his only chance at power. He's going to run the stupid campaign, get 5% or 10% of the vote, and nothing's going to change. So it's fake to me until he endorses Trump. And then he endorsed Trump. Now it's a real movement. It's like Trump wants his support. So now Trump goes from calling him a communist to now they're best friends. Politics is a grimy place. People don't tell you the truth. Right? Trump will call Ron DeSantis a pedophile in a site and then DeSantis is behind him and he's like, oh, never mind. I didn't mean that. It's like, then why did you say it? Like, I say what I mean. Politicians don't. And Trump can be a politician oftentimes. Sometimes he's not, sometimes he is. But with that being said, now that RFK's in his camp, he's not in charge of the judges. Good. Trump picks better judges. Not better than anyone, but better than RFK would. And now RFK's using the leverage of his support to try to do certain good things to the food industry. Like, this campaign is way cooler than his last one. So I'm not here to knock down Trump's campaign. And people could do what they want. I don't care. I'm voting for Trump. I don't know what endorsing means or whatever, but I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting all Republican, and I'm using my leverage when Trump gets in to get good people in position. Get Thomas Massey at the head of a good industry. Put RFK at the FDA to go, fix our seed oils. We're being poisoned, folks, with everybody in this country is fat. Everybody has diseases and nobody seems to notice. You watch NFL or anything, everything's like, we're doing this disease, that disease, this disease. They're always helping the disease, but they're never asking the question, why is everybody so sick in this country? It's so important. Nobody gives a shit. Trump still probably doesn't give a shit, but RFK does give a shit about that. So to me, the time is to rally behind Trump and use your power and strength to push him in the right direction and push people around him in the right direction. As much as you could say about Elon Musk, personally, and I'm not saying that donor money is good now, because it's not, but it's like, weirdly, Elon Musk seems to be using his donor money to push for American policies. I'm not saying you have to trust him, but I don't think we've ever, and this might be a bold statement, and only time will tell. But hold on, someone's getting arrested. It's annoying me. There's just go arrest the person already. Stop interrupting my live stream. All right. I don't think we've had an American billionaire that has given a shit about America in a long time. And I'm not saying Elon has no ulterior motives, but when Elon gives $70 million or whatever to Trump, I'm not saying this because I like donor money or whatever. It seems like his objective is to preserve good things about America. I've never seen someone do that in my lifetime. It's always for Israel. It's always for the pharmaceutical industry. It's always for something else. You understand what I'm saying? There's never a billionaire in America who's like, let's just crush. The Goya guy seems pretty cool, and Mike Lindell's a little weird, but he seems all right. I understand that there are people who do, but not to the level of Elon Musk. Usually the Elon Musk types are more like George Soros, or they're more like Miriam Adelson. My vibes and my research tells me that Elon, he likes the First Amendment. He likes the Second Amendment. He's smart enough to know what happens to the world if America goes down. I'm not saying he's perfect or super trustworthy, but I get good vibes from Elon not on all topics, but I think he knows the party stops. How is this even good for billionaires and stuff? If America falls, everything sucks. When America's awesome, everybody rich can just crush. You know what I'm saying? Who wants to be rich in a shitty country? It's then you might as well just move to a island somewhere or something where you live in a gated community. It's America used to be awesome. Someone said Vance is the AIPAC handler. Trump has more handlers than Vance. Vance, in my view, is a politician, okay? He's a cool guy, but he's a politician. He's going to play the game. That's how he got there. He's playing the game. You don't have to agree with it, but let's make America great again. Let's be honest, be as cordial as we can, and unabashedly speak the truth. Let's see what JD Vance does. I believe when the tides turn, JD Vance is going to turn with the tides. He's not that I don't think he's an AIPAC handler. He's a guy who knew how to get to where he's at. He's not a devious, he's just probably an opportunist, but I like him. I don't share the hate or whatever for him. I'm not saying you're being hateful, but it's he's definitely a little sneaky, but when the tides turn, these people are going to turn with the tides. Focus on that. Hold on. Spider, dead. Oh, shit. Hold on. I got water coming on. Dude. Sorry, I had a spider attack. Dude, that was the scariest thing ever. Oh, my gosh, dude. The spider was this big coming for. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that big, but it was pretty small. But I killed it with my water bottle, so I win. Someone said, can we bring in somebody new like you, Anomaly? You'd be better. You want to replace me or something? I don't get what are you talking about? You want to bring in a clone or something? You're let's bring in someone like you that's not you. The possibilities are unlimited. I have a vision and I'm going for it. I got a place with multiple, I am in a place right now that has one bedroom, right? I don't have that much space. I'm in my living room. I don't have a living room because I converted it into a studio, and it's I come home and I'm always just at work. I got more space. I'm building a studio to some extent, music. I have a vision and I'm going to execute it. And, I have good people where I'm going that are going to work with me. So the possibilities are unlimited, but what I want to do is keep it simple, but I do want people to do other stuff. Cause the thing is I have a lot of potential in a lot of different ways that I just don't have time for. Like I'm not trying to like get overzealous right now, but I do social media consulting, and I'm not going to get into specifics or how much I made because it's not that like mind-boggling by any means, but it's like I can make good money doing social media consulting, and I'm great at it. I've done it for bigger businesses, not like McDonald's or anything, or else I'd be way richer. But I've done it for companies, and it's even easier. I can do it for individuals and content creators and stuff too. But when you have a company, it's easier to me in a sense because it's like once you're already making a lot, like if you're trying to start from scratch, it's always harder, but it's possible. When you're a company that's already making money, all you have to do with consulting is like turn a few levers and get a few people to do things, and things like rapidly can increase. And then they like you more than someone who's just starting where it's like, oh, this is really hard. It's like, yeah, of course it's not going to be easy. But anyway, it's like I've done well with consulting without even really trying that much. And it's like if I want to build a team where it's like I have somebody that manages my consulting that can get me gigs and get me advertisements and stuff. Like I'm doing everything right now. So it's like I'll get a couple consulting gigs a year because that's all I try. I send out a blast. I tell people to go to dreamrarebiz.com. I get one gig and then I stop and I move on to something else. And it's like my business is fine and I'm grateful, but it's like it's not optimal. So I'm trying to make everything optimal. My consulting, my music, my podcast, my advertisements on it and stuff. Like and the more optimal I make it, the more fun it is. You know, like it's not fun to be tied in 20 directions, but it's not the worst thing in the world either. So I'm excited. I feel great today. I feel healthy after my like week off. And yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I feel good about everything. Would I accept a position in Trump's cabinet if it was offered to you? I mean, probably not. But once again, it's like it's hard to like imagine something that's not going to happen. Like what position? I would say no, but if I felt like I could help the country so much, maybe like give me an example, like what cabinet position. I'm not really qualified for a cabinet position at the moment. I don't think like an advisor or something. If he brought me in to just talk to him, maybe, I don't want to get involved in politics, but if the president that is surrounded by some cool people said, hey, we value your opinion, we want to hear what you have to say about stuff. I don't know. That would maybe that would be the right position, would be like an advisor, because then I don't actually do anything, but I don't think I'm qualified to like run an agency or anything. But I don't know. I might not, because I don't like politics. I don't really want to be around it. But if I felt like it was real, maybe press secretary, hell no. You can't even be yourself. I would have to just be Trump. Like if I were his press secretary, I couldn't be like Operation Warp Speed sucks. I have to be like, it's the greatest thing. It saved 1 million lives. Like that's like a parrot. They should change the name of press secretary to the presidential parrot. That's what it should be. That's what it is. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It's just that's their job. They're not there. Karine Jean-Pierre is not there to be her. The blonde chick that was good. Kayleigh McEnany. She's paid to be the parrot for the president. No, I would hate that. I got way too many opinions. Is AOC's qualified? No, she's not qualified. It's such a mess there. Like obviously I could do it. It's not, like I don't think I like couldn't do it. Of course I could. I just don't want to. I don't want to be a congressman. And if I did it, I would want to really plan it out. I think most politicians, not all, but most of them are like sociopaths with zero self-awareness, because you almost have to be a sociopath with no self-awareness to go through that and like not have it phase you. Like a normal person's like, yeah, this kind of sucks. It's like, but another thing is too, like if you start from a hard life, it makes other things easier. Like everyone's like, oh, that's so tough. It's like, so's being poor, so's growing up shitty. Like, so sometimes like, that's another good like background to have, like just a shittier life where you're like, this is not that bad. At least I get to be on stage and stuff. Someone said these. I'm not saying I'm not smarter than politicians, but I don't want to like. I don't know that much about like. Say they said, oh, you're the head of the FDA. I guess I just sit in meetings and make executive decisions. Yeah, sure, I probably could do it, but I'd just be confused at first. I'd be like, how does this work? And then you'd have all these deep state people being like, we've been here for a while putting, fluoride in the water. And it's like, all right, dude, relax. Like if they could pull the curtain back to see the people that are making decisions, people would be probably shocked. Someone said Michael Myers versus Jason Voorhees, vote for the lesser of two evils. It's the most important election ever. I feel good about the Trump vibes, but here's the question. If Trump wins, will his you can't just sit back and like watch Trump. You gotta like, nudge him in the right direction respectfully. But I don't know. I feel good about the vibes. Like I don't know. I'm having fun with it. I like Elon wasn't there. Like RFK wasn't there. I like that everyone's kind of coming together, because the truth is, like, if you're going to pick the lesser of two evils, Tulsi Gabbard, she's always been one of my favorite Democrats. I'm not a Democrat, but I knew, go watch my videos from 2018. I was putting Tulsi Gabbard in my videos before almost anybody was. Me and Jimmy Dore were onto her because of her Syria conversations. But anyway, and others as well, but it's like not very many people. She's always been one of the best Democrats. Now she's a Republican. RFK's always been one of the best Democrats. Now he's a Republican. Elon Musk has always been one of the coolest Democrats. Now he's a Republican. This is what we want. I'm not saying we got to be the party of the big tent, but it's like, enough of the bullshit, okay? Democrats are fake. Republicans are more real. They're not perfect. Let's all come over here and go this way. Because like when we're all pretending like they're both equal, like sort of, yeah. But look at even Trump's worst Supreme Court justice, his worst one. I don't know if it would be Amy Coney Barrett or Brett Kavanaugh, maybe one of them. Just kidding. But I mean, our majesties, you're supposed to be polite with those things. I'm being very disrespectful, but they're better than Ketanji Jackson Brown. And, like, it's just true. Like, Democrats just suck almost worse at almost everything. So what's the point of acting like it's not like that? It is like that. Let's get all the talented and smart and honest people that don't hate themselves and hate the country over here. And then we could have, hopefully some change. But who knows? I've come to the conclusion too, and I've said this probably like 100 times on my podcast, but people want things that they don't deserve sometimes. Everybody wants the America that they want, but they don't think about why it should be there. And I'm past the point, like even for myself, could I be doing more stuff? Sure. Are there reasons I'm not, that perhaps I'm being victimized in some way? Sure. And I talk about it, but am I a victim? No, I'm where I should be because I did what I did, and when I make a decision for this or that, to close this door, whatever, I'm knowingly making that decision, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might think a P. Diddy deal is good 20 years ago, and now you might be thinking otherwise. You might have wanted to get signed to, some of these other things in the media, and then you see how it really works and you realize you never could have been there. So it's like, everything reveals itself. And I don't look at the world like we need this and that. Like I want a lot of things, but it's like, I think America's getting what it deserves. And nobody wants to say that, but it's like, Republicans don't deserve what they want. They deserve what they've earned. If people want to earn a better country, they got to do the harder work on themselves. Like, that's why I like RFK, besides his policies. It's like, if you can't even figure out that they're poisoning us and everybody's fat and sick because they're literally poisoning us, you're too stupid to have a good country. It doesn't matter that you voted for Trump. Cool. Look at the ingredients in the food. Cancer was unknown 50 years ago. It's scary that it's so common. Everything's so common now. Why? Because people are fat and stupid. Not everybody, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's like, how do you not see this? Back in the day, the fat guy on Seinfeld looked like everybody's uncle now. Everybody's that fat now. Like the comically fat guy is like a skinny guy now. So it's like, I don't agree with, we're going to get the country because we got to watch the Trump thing. Bro, we got to do the work, right? We all got to do the work, and then we'll get the country we deserve. And then people like, oh, JD Vance is doing this. And then he'll be one of us. Once the tides turn, he'll be just like us. And he's more like us now than he was 5 years ago or whatever. Why? I'm not saying that you have to be a big fan or whatever, but it's like, that's what politicians do. Look at Chuck Schumer. He's talking about a wall. Now he's crying. You got freaking Obama and Hillary talking about crime. She's saying super predators or whatever. And now they're, not Hillary necessarily, but it's like they just play a game. But the game reflects us. Obviously, there's other factors, mass media, education, brainwashing. But I don't live in this world of like, oh, if he wins, the country's going to be fixed. It probably won't, and it probably doesn't deserve to be. So I'm focused on being the best version of myself, and then I'll get the life I deserve. And all I could do is, if I'm the best version of myself, getting the life I deserve, and it's a good one, then I could bless some other people that are willing to bless themselves. You can't bless everybody, if people, and I'll get stopped often, and people will say like, I saw you during COVID, you helped so much. This is just on the streets. I don't know how many people I've impacted. I got almost 1 billion views, so it's probably up there. But I've been stopped dozens of times, and people be like, you helped me during COVID with your stuff, and I'm so grateful. And I'm happy to hear that, and I'm grateful. But it's like, I can't help someone that doesn't want to listen. And it's like, the reason that people were helped on my content is because they were smart and honest enough to listen to what I had heard from other people that educated me. And then we bless each other, and then someone stopping me saying that you helped me is a blessing to my day, because then it makes my day better. It makes me feel good. It's like, oh, I'm surrounded by people that like me and appreciate me. That's nice. So it's like, we all could bless each other, but only if we get to the point of doing it. And that's all you can really do. It's like, we can only fix America if everyone maxes out their righteousness. And I'm not talking about even activism and protesting. I'm talking about just like, be the best version of yourself. And then people that are blessed can bless others that are willing to, listen and learn and have an open mind. Someone said, what is the state if it's not the state of mind of the people? Simplicity, sincerity, purity, graciousness. Well, that was beautiful. Thank you. I can't see the names on Facebook, but I'm sorry about that. Someone said, and you dug and presented paper trails as well. Not to pat myself on the back, but I think I'm a high level presenter because I really get outside of my own head. And it's like, I know the information. How do I prove it to people? Because like, I know what I'd want to see. If someone shows me a meme that says like, look, Obama did this, I don't believe just memes. Like, I'll laugh at a meme, but it's like, then I go and do the research on my own to prove it and find my own paper trails and my own proof. So when I present to people, I'm trying to make the greatest presentation possible. With the podcast, obviously there's a lot of elements to it, but these are not as great and convincing as some of my previous work that's shorter and easier. That's what I have Instagram for now. I do that. But it's like, I think about all these things because it's like, if I'm going to make content, what am I making it for? Like, what's the point? You want to convince people, or at least get them aware of what you're saying. And the easiest way to do that is when you're being persuasive. And some people are persuaded. Like, I know even in general, people like just people that are confident. And sometimes like if you're a jack dude and you just go up there and start talking shit, people are persuaded. You don't even have to show a fact. They just look at you. And like, I think being attractive helps too for certain people. Like if you're a hot chick, like I know there's hot chicks in the conservative party. They're not that smart. They're not that honest. Like they're just blunt and hot. And like they made a career off being hot. If they were ugly, no one would, they'd have 1,000th as many followers. And it's like, I'm not saying, but you understand, like for me, persuasive, it's like, I'm not just going to sit up here and talk shit and hope that people believe me. It's like, I want to persuade as many people as possible with like information and like explaining it. But some people, all you need is just like, just to like just yell and some people will believe you. I'm just not that person. So I put out the content also that I would like believe, two people that have done a good job. I'm not trying to be ignorant because I don't know his first name, or like I think his name is something Kim, but he's this Asian dude on Instagram and he does fantastic work. I wish I don't follow him, but I keep seeing pop him up sometime. Him and the guy Ian Carroll, they're, in my opinion, two of the most effective presenters out there. And a lot of people question Ian because he blew up. I don't know. Like you could think what you want, but it's like the reason, in my opinion, I don't know him personally, but the reason I think he blew up is he's just better than everybody at presenting. Like everyone can do the videos he does, but they don't. Why not? I don't know. He's just good at it. I'm good at it. Other people are good at it. I'm not saying you can't, but it's like if you did a video as good as him pointing out things about Israel, but not taking yourself out of it and not sounding too crazy and showing proof and being like, I'm just saying, it's a lot easier to convince people. And same with the guy, I think his name is Matt Kim, actually. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. He does kind of work like that as well, where I think like there's just certain people I see and I'm like, that's really good. Like that's a great way to show people, like, because you're showing proof, you're showing articles, you're pointing to it, you're getting to the source, and then you're saying, great presenters. Tucker on television, he was the best by far. Now he runs one of the best podcasts. Like, you don't have to like him. He's the best at what he does. He doesn't do necessarily exactly what I do, but when it came to television media, he was the best. Now that he's on podcasts, he's the best, or one of the best, Candace Owens, they fired her. She's still got a top podcast. She's great at what she does. She's extremely witty, unapologetic, and now she's getting into topics that most people won't cover, so it's even more popular. It's like, you can call a spade a spade. It's like Bill Maher is interesting. Jon Stewart is interesting for their, you know, their genre. It's not my favorite, but they're the better ones of the Democrats, and probably their views reflect it. Someone said Ian is produced. But I mean, I don't know what you mean by that, but like his TikTok videos, like you could make it on your phone. Like sometimes he uses such low res videos that like you could see the blurriness in the article. Like it's not like he's got a team of 1,000 people making the videos. You could make it with a TikTok. You know, it's like I don't like he's like the least overproduced person ever. If he's working with people or something, like I don't like, if that's what you're referring to, then that's one thing. But as far as like he's produced, like it's the most underproduced content ever. And he proved, just like I have in the past, you don't need to be overproduced to be effective on TikTok and Instagram and social media. You know, I take a selfie. I think the biggest video that I've done on my Instagram story is me at the UFC with my cell phone. I just took a video, and you know, I had a date that had large breasts. I'm just being honest. I feel like that's probably why I got the views. It wasn't me. It got like 180,000, 300,000 like views in my story. I post a selfie or whatever, it gets 60, 70,000, or it's an interesting video of Trump, 70,000. And then I'll post an article of something that's not that interesting, and it'll get like 5,000 people saw it. It's just like, you know, you don't even need, like, sometimes you could produce, I could spend 5 hours producing something and put it up and get like 10,000 views in a story. And then I could just go out to an event with a chick that's hot and get like 100,000. Like, you don't need to overproduce your stuff. So I don't know what you're referring to, but the people that are crushing now, I don't like, some people overproduce it and that's cool, but you don't have to look at it like, oh, they're doing what I can't do. It's like, dude, the article is like blurry in the background because he's just using the filter on TikTok where you just upload it and they use it like a green screen. Like it's the least produced thing ever. Someone said people love milkers. Yeah, just look at the chick Sydney Sweeney. All right, Sydney Sweeney. Sorry, I'll try to like put a light on or something, but it's gonna get blurry because the sun's going down. I use natural light. I've never seen Sydney Sweeney. I've never seen a movie. I've never heard her talk. I've literally never heard her talk. I've just seen her and her milkers, like just in my feed. It's like, you know, if you're a patriot, you're going to Sydney Sweeney. It's like, all right, who is this chick? It's like, someone said, where have you been? Well, I've been away. If you're asking why I don't know her, I don't watch movies. I don't watch TV. I don't like it, but it's like, who is this chick? She just has like decent milkers and everybody's obsessed. Like, that's just crazy. It's just funny. Like, I don't know. Like, there's no famous people that have like stuck out to me, but like she just came everywhere because she wears like a bra with cleavage, and now she gets to do every commercial and stuff. So it's like, I don't know. People are funny. You're like, you're not a patriot if you don't vote for Trump and you don't like Sydney Sweeney, and you're like, Hawk Tua. You're like, all right, whatever you say. Someone said Ian's great. He connects all the dots until it comes to Vax Daddy. I don't follow him that closely. I've just seen his presentations. But here's what I'll say too, is like when I don't want to like, I don't even know exactly what you're saying, but in general, it's like when you get to a certain point, everyone wants you to do everything and go everywhere and say everything. And sometimes like, that's just not what you want to do. So I don't know. I just don't have that much expectation for him. You know, it's like he's already done interesting stuff. I don't follow everything he does and be like, you got to do this. Like, he's already personally, but I don't know. Tough crowd. Milk America great again. I don't know about that. That's funny though. Someone said, right, water enthusiast hating on milk. I'm not a big milk fan personally, but I do like whole milk. I don't know if this is necessary, but I believe in whole milk. I know they try to like demonize it and say it's going to make you sick. This is not, I'm not telling other people what to do. That's just a personal preference. All right, I'm going to do 2 more and then I'm going to take off because the light is just going to get worse. Someone said, we're tired of half-truths. We just want honesty from the people. I hear you. I mean, I guess certain things I don't know what people are referring to or like what video. I'd have to see the video that people are mad at and then try to figure out if I agree or not. I understand why people are tired of half truths though, because there are a lot of people, and I even see like in the media, I'm sure you guys have seen it in conservative media. There's a few people like I don't even have to name it if you're paying attention to like Twitter stuff, where they're trying to brand Tucker Carlson as the woke right, and they're trying to say that anybody who questions like that is woke right, and it's like some things do seem very like inauthentic, where like Seth Dillon and stuff, where they're like it's the woke right, and it's like yeah, like now people like him, James Lindsay and stuff, I'm just not interested. Like they're clearly fake to me. And it's, now when they like post like a Babylon Bee article, it's like, ha ha ha, they made fun of the left. Like to me, that's boring to me. But, some people still like that stuff. I get it. I just feel like it doesn't do it for me. So I get other people when you're like, they're not doing it for me. I get it. I don't even know what they're saying to get people to feel that way. Yeah, no, I got you. Question everything. Someone said, I'm sure everyone. I'm trying to read there, scrolling too much. I'm sure everyone who has viewership gets known by them. I don't know what you're saying, but if you get enough viewership, you're known to some extent. So I'm not sure what you were referring to. Question everything. Rudy Gates with the super chat. Thank you so much. Question everything said, we want you to go all the way if you tell all the truths until you get the most popular grift. It's just another half truther to me. I got you. I hear what you're saying. I guess I just don't follow it enough. I'm speaking of the presentations I've seen. I can't say I've seen one in the last like 3 months. So I saw people were mad at something, but I didn't really follow up. Someone said, do a show with Nick Fuentes. I want to talk about what he's doing eventually, because I do think it's interesting that he got banned from the Republican basically media, and now he's teaming up with streamers like Aiden Ross and Kick. Like there's a whole it's almost like when people got banned from like social media and then like TikTok came up and then you can get big on TikTok or whatever. It's like the Republicans that tried to blacklist Nick, they, Nick had an audience. He's a talented guy. So he just got picked up by streamers. Like the streamer culture, I don't really watch it, but it's interesting to me because the younger kids, it seems like they don't care. Like they're not politically correct. They're not offended by words. So, the Republican media sphere was like Nick Fuentes can't work anywhere, basically. It seems that way, at least. And then Aiden Ross, who's probably bigger than all of them, and he has like millions of followers. He's like, oh, I'm going to work with this guy or whatever. So, and then they maybe signed him to a deal or maybe not. I'm not really sure, but I do find that stuff interesting because it's like this new form of media where people just stream their entire lives and everybody watches them. And parts of the streamer culture, I think, is cringe, where they like walk around and it's just annoying. But all the streamers like Nick, Sneeko, Aiden Ross, they seem like way less politically correct. Like they talk shit, they curse a lot, like, and none of the kids seem to care. Like, so I think streamer culture is going to sneak up on the Republican and the Democratic Party, and eventually they're going to want to utilize it. But a lot of people who got blacklisted, like they just don't care anymore because they're getting views on Kick and streaming platforms. It's like Twitch, but it's different. Did I see that Styx got arrested? I did see that. I'm not a nasty person, so pray for the guy. God bless him. I don't like prey on people's downfalls because I debated him one time. So I did see that, but it's not my business. I don't know what happened. I don't know the context, so I'm not going to like shit on it or say anything. So God bless him. God bless his family, and hopefully everything's good. But I did notice that, it did come up in my feed one day. I was like, dang, that's crazy. Someone said he's a Satanist. Okay. I can still bless him with the Lord. Maybe he won't like that, but it's whatever. Someone said, I'm not big on his Catholic stance because I think Catholics are fake Christians, but he's definitely right on Israel and Trump. Someone said, yeah, I mean, I hear you. I guess when I listen to other people, at this point in my life, I do my own thing, so I'm not going to like follow everything anyone says. I kind of just try to analyze it and see if I like it or not, or I think it's funny or interesting. So yeah, I don't like, he's not my Catholic leader or anything, so I don't think about it that way. But I do see, Christians and Catholics. I mean, Candace is Catholic. Russell Brand says he's Catholic now. there's a lot of people that are doing that. So I just don't, definitely Russell Brand, I don't really take that seriously, but with everyone else, it's like that's what they're doing. It doesn't really bother me personally. Thank you, Willie. I appreciate it. Trump will Regeneron you a new ear quick. That's pretty funny. Someone said, I'm tired of the, well, it's our party, we should let it slide people. Yeah, I mean, I've said this a bunch, but the election's going to happen either way. And like, if Trump wins, then he wins. So I'm not trying to let things slide. It's going to happen either way. So it's like, try to leverage your, I think, energy to getting people to figure out what you're talking about versus just being like a downer about it. Like the two-party system sucks, but I'm not going to be like, it's like, I'm over that. It's like, I'm trying to have fun with it, even though it's crazy. Let's see. 1:30. All right, we'll do like 2 more minutes. I just want to let people know. I'm sorry about the lo-fi, like the sun's going down, but if you want these hats, I got a bunch of them at dreamrare.com. And just a warning that I might have to put on the hats for really dumb people. Just kidding. But some guy was like, Anomaly, I like your hats, but they're really warm. It's like, yeah, if you wear them in the summer, they'll be too hot. But if you wear them during the winter, you want a hat to be warm because that's the whole point of it. So, some people wear them for style. Others, winter is when they wear hats. So they are warm. And apparently someone didn't know that. So if you want one of these, God bless black beanies, go to dreamrare.com, but they are warm. So I don't, when someone wrote that, I thought it was the funniest thing. He's like, dude, they're too hot. Well, it's summer, and you're wearing a hat. So I don't know. It definitely, like, it is snug. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you live in cold weather, maybe that's what you want, but if you don't, then maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know. Like, that's how I wear hats, but I don't, sometimes I do wear a hat for style though. And then it's like, you don't want it to be too hot, but it is supposed to be a winter hat. So it's like, I don't get mad at sweatpants. I'm like, dude, these sweatpants are really hot. Well, they are sweatpants. You could always go to the closet and wear shorts today, but dreamrare.com. Check it out, folks. Thank you. Someone said, get Whitney Webb. Would definitely consider talking to her at some point. I haven't done many interviews, if you guys could see, but as far as when I move and when I restructure, I'm really trying to figure out what I want to do. But then, if I have a show where I'm having a lot of guests, then I'll try to have her on. But I don't know if I'm going to go that route. At one point, I wanted to do an interview and interview people all the time. I might do that, but it's like, I don't know. I kind of just want to have fun. Like, it's not like I'm going to sell out or anything, but it's like, do I want to be the person that interviews people all week? Maybe I want to do that, but I got to figure out like what I'm doing. But I have certain goals and I haven't got to that point yet to figure out exactly like how I want to structure my show come next year. But I do want to switch it up a little bit, but not like drastically radical. Someone says she comes from a very wealthy family. Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, so does Tucker Carlson. It's like, if you were born rich or poor or middle class, like you didn't ask to be born that way. So why would I hold that against you? To me, that's like irrelevant. Unless you're pretending to be like super rich and you're poor, vice versa. But it's like, is what she's saying true? Is she a good journalist? Then she's good. If she's not, she's not. But her being rich, it's like Tucker Carlson came from a rich family, but he does pretty well in my view. So whatever. Anomaly, I'll get some milkers. Okay, enough with the milkers. I didn't even mean to bring that up, but I was just being very honest. It's like sometimes that gets more views than anything. I mean, obviously, look at the internet. It's like, the point of that whole conversation. I don't know why I talked about milkers for so long, but it's like, overproducing stuff can be good if you have good production, but it's not necessary. Like if you're a creator and you're like, they're doing that, it's like you could do a lot with just a phone nowadays. Can you trade a Trump NFT for his iconic apron? I have no idea. You want a Trump apron? Listen, you could send your patch. I know you bought the patch, but if I'll cut out the new NFTs, have a piece of my apron and a French fry shriveled up and a soggy French fry for $5,000 and a trading NFT. Sign me up. I want it. Just kidding. That's gross. It's disgusting. Grow up. They're 1/16 pounders due to inflation. That's what Brett Miller said. That's funny. Great hat. Thank you. It's at dreamwear.com. I got a bunch of them. So I've been stocking up for winter. I have the most black Dream Rare hats more than anything else. Like this is the product I have the most of. Everything else I have like under 20. So if you see anything on the website and you think, oh, I want that, I don't have many of them. You see a black hat, still buy it. I'm just being honest. I probably should pretend like I don't, but I have a lot of black hats. I just bought a lot at some point, and that's what it is. So there's more than enough to go around, as they say. Someone says that, hopefully, or else it doesn't. Anyway, get Shane Gillis on. I'll make a push to do a lot more, but I want to have my business model right. Forever I've been running around. I have I have a game plan. I have a strategy. I'm going to do it. And then once I have everything right, then I'll try to get bigger interviews and go do stuff and talk to people. For now, it's like, I don't even if I got invited to like a Rogan podcast, of course I do it. I wouldn't turn it down, but I don't care. Like, I'm not even I was talking to a friend and he's like, yo, maybe you can get on or whatever. I'd rather you go on than me. And I was like, I appreciate it. But I was like, you can go on if you get it. Like, I don't care. I'm at the point now, like I'm not in the place where I want a bunch of like spotlight. Look at me. Like, it's like, I don't even know what to do with it at this point. Cause my business models, they're lacking a little bit, I want to get my models right. And then I could go do stuff. Cause it's not just like, oh, I need this or that, but it's like, I've gotten enough attention. You know what I'm saying? I could do an Instagram reel and get thousands of comments and tens of thousands of shares. I'd rather build properly, have the right team in place, and then try to get that stuff. For now, it's like, it's just whatever. If it comes about, great. If not, like most people, they're like, I really want these opportunities. I'm in a place now where I'm like, I don't care for the next like 5 months, really, to be honest. You make time for people. How nice. I would like to think I try to. Someone said black sheep are the only ones telling the truth. Get your God bless beanie. That's an interesting pitch. Thank you, JoJo. I like people just giving me some like marketing pitches here. Only Trump knows when the next false flag will happen, someone said. It's possible. Theo Vaughn should invite you. I've actually met Theo once. I had his number, but I lost it. But yeah, I mean, if the stars align one day, I'll do all the podcasts. But I guess I just don't maybe like 2 years ago, I'll be like, I want to be on all these. Right now, I just don't care that much. I don't know why. Like, it's not like I have no ambition, but I'm like, I have things I want to do before I even think about that personally. When's my song coming out? It's coming out next Thursday night or Friday morning, 12 o'clock a.m. Friday, wherever you are. It drops on Spotify, iTunes, everything. I'll probably post a link, but it's called 9-Minute Masterpiece. It's over 9 minutes long, which is crazy for a song. I understand. I just kept writing and I was like, I want to make the best song I can make. And I just kept going. And every day I'd write a lot and then I'd come back and the next day I'd be like, is this even as good? Is this good or did it suck? I'm not even really sure. And then I'd rap it and I was like, no, that's pretty fire. And then I'd write more and it kept happening. And then I was like, all right. I told my producer who produced the beat, because it's an original song, I said, dude, I think I made it like 5 minutes or 6 minutes by mistake. And then I wrapped it and it's 9 minutes long. But the thing is, and I'm very critical of my own stuff. Like sometimes I'm like, that's not as good as it could have been. The mix isn't good. I recorded it. The mix sounded perfect the first time I got it back from my producer. Playing it, it goes by quickly. It's not even boring because my lyrics are so like everything I'm saying is just like meaningful. And like, it's basically like I came together. I've done a lot of rap songs. I've done features. I was like, I want to write the best poem, the best rap song, the best lyrics that I've ever written. And I want this to be the best song of the year or at least like in that category. And that's what I did. So it's like, I'm pumped. I'm not, sometimes I'm like, oh, it came out cool or whatever. And I hope it does well. But it's like, to me, it's the best song I've ever written. And here's the great part about not caring that much. Like, do I want it to do well? Of course. Do I want people to recognize that it's an awesome song and hopefully think it's one of the best songs? Sure. But if they don't, I don't, I'm at peace with everything right now. It's like, I can only do so much. I'm focused on editing the music video and putting lyrics on it. At that point, you throw it out, people look at it, you move on. That's just how it goes anyway. So it's whatever. Can I sing it? It's not really a singy song. It's more a rap song, but I posted a preview of it on my Instagram story like a week ago and Facebook story. Signed with Bad Boy Records. I think it's the wrong time to do that. Bad Boys for life, babe. It's like, I'll show up to Bad Boy Records tomorrow. I'm like, dude, like nobody's there. I'm like, I'm looking for a record deal. They're like, dude, it's everything's getting shut down. You're like, oh, I guess I'm 10 years too late. No, my bad. Just kidding. I'm not a rap person, but good for you. It's not for everybody. I understand. Someone said no song titled Masterpiece will ever be considered it, so it's just silly. It's possible. I had a lot of different names for it, but the reason I like 9-minute Masterpiece is because it's like the short is 9 which is also 9 mm. So I just thought that was cool. So I had other names for it, but they just didn't hit as hard in the album art with like the N 9 I just thought it was like a cool double meaning, you know what I'm saying, or double word. So whatever. I don't like if that's why people don't think it's good, then I don't care. I'm not like I'm not stressing over it. If everybody thinks it's the worst song I ever heard, I'll be a little disappointed, not gonna lie, but I don't think it's gonna affect me that much. Someone said Anomaly been laying low because he went to the Diddy freak-offs. No, I never had a deal, never got invited to a Diddy party. I told people I was at a wedding for a week, and then I was looking for new places because I'm moving, and then I visited my family for a week, and then I went on a cruise. If you want to think the Diddy party thing, that's on you, but I never went to a Diddy party, never met Diddy, never got invited anywhere. With that being said, also, I'm not really laying low. I post every day 20 times on Facebook. I post on Instagram sometimes. Twitter, I'm just over Twitter. I can't explain it to you, but it's like I spent so much energy on Twitter for years, like especially during COVID. Some of my worst memories of the last couple of years are from Twitter. Like, I'm not joking. Like, my best memories are in reality, like doing things with my friends and family. My worst memories are like arguing with people on Twitter, getting stressed out, just sitting there on my phone. So I try to just take a break from Twitter. It's not because Twitter's bad. I think there's a lot of good info on there, but it's like everybody's fighting all the time via text. And I don't want to do that. I'd rather like communicate with my mouth than with like texting. So I took a break from Twitter. It was just supposed to be like a week or two break or whatever, a month break. I just have no desire to go back. I can't explain it, but it's like I don't care. Like, I know what I think. I've said it a bunch of times. I post 20 memes a day on Facebook. I'll do a bunch of Instagram reels. I'll post some things on Twitter, and I'll do streams. It's just like I'm just over the tweeting thing. It's like Kamala sucks. Like, maybe I'll use Twitter to just share videos and stuff, but I can't explain it. But like, I see people arguing all the time. This person's arguing with this person. This person's mad at this person. I'm like, I don't want it in my life. You know, like it's not worth the money to me. It's not worth I just don't like it I like it as a news platform, and I like it as a retrieving information platform, but I just no longer like it as a like, here's black. Cause then, I think of it as well as like, I'm very sensitive in some ways, where it's like when you say something and it reaches millions of people, it's almost like you could feel it. But it's like, if I'm going to do an Instagram reel, I'm carefully thinking about everything I said. Facebook live stream, it is what it is. I'm here talking literally. With Twitter, it's like you're getting embroiled in all these like really toxic arguments and conversations all the time. And it was just stressing me out. So I'm not really laying low. I just don't feel like tweeting. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. And I think Elon's crushing with Twitter. It's the text-based arguments that annoy me, and just like the snarky little one line. Like, I'm just over that shit, personally. So it has nothing to do with today. And I don't know how other people feel, but I think for me as well, it's like health-wise, I feel better. Like, every time, even if I just say one thing, I'll be like, hey, I'm coming back. You read the comments and people are like, fuck you. You're not doing that. It's just like all this stuff where it's like, I don't, if I really was who some people think I am that don't like me or whatever, it's like, don't you think I'd be using Twitter 1,000 times a day just to like get information out there? I use other stuff, but it's like, I just don't want to. It's just not fun for me anymore. And maybe one day I'll go back to it, but I don't. It's not today. Do I think Trump will win? I do. Happy belated birthday. Thank you. 9 minutes long. Holy cow. I'm really excited for it. I mean, I wish I could show you part of it now, but like, I feel like it's the best song I've ever done in my view. I'm sure other people might disagree to some extent. 9 minutes, straight bars, straight lyrics, good beat, good flow. Everything's on point. Sounds like an old school hip hop beat, like real lyrical stuff. And everything I'm saying, like, here's what I want to say too. Like, if you listen to the song and you might not like hip hop or whatever, my voice, you could, it's whatever. Everybody's not gonna like it. But like, listen to that song, the 9 minute song. And I want to ask, who's making a song that good or that real? I just don't see it. I've heard a lot of good songs. I've heard a lot of real songs. Like there's mainstream songs that I love that are cool, and no disrespect to any other hip hop artist, because I'm not out here trying to, blaspheme the culture or anything. But it's like when you listen to that 9-minute song, you tell me who's made a song that good and that real in the last couple of years. That's the type of song I try to make. And I'm a huge critic of when it comes to like how good what I think, and then trying to make it sound as good as I think it sounds in my head. This came out exactly how I wanted it to, and I'm pumped about it. I don't think anybody's made a song like it. I'm not going to say ever, but it's like I'm trying to make my version of like Dance with the Devil, Immortal Technique, or my version of like the song that, you're like, Anomaly was good, but that's the best song he's ever made. That's the iconic song. That's the game changer. That's like, I'm not trying to do average stuff anymore. I've done it. I was like, I'm going for the best I've ever done. And I think I accomplished it. So what everyone else thinks, it's whatever. Someone said, I wish more people actually listen to the lyrics. Yeah, well, it's definitely not going to be a radio song. I'll tell you that. It's not a club song. It's not a song that's going to be like super popular. I don't think it's going to be popular. Like it's definitely not going to do that. But I think if it's good enough and enough people think it's good enough, it will last like on the underground, and that's always what I wanted anyway. Anomaly and Bieber. Yeah, I got Justin Bieber on the hook. He goes, baby, 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 woo, baby. And then I'm like, yeah, Biebs. And no, I'm just kidding. I would take a Bieber hook though, dude. Justin Bieber, he's talented, and it would get like 100 million streams with Bieber on it. All he has to do is do whatever. He's done other stuff besides the baby song. I'm not trying to be rude to the Biebs. He's got some newer, better stuff, but it's not that. That's not the October surprise. I got a Justin Bieber feature. Could you imagine if I got a Justin Bieber feature? Everyone would be like, you're an Illuminati. How'd you get that? It's like, I don't know. Me and Bieber are just friends. We're not, but I'm just saying, like, if I ever did something really cool, I feel like truthers would just hate me for it. They'd be like, how did that happen? It's like, I don't know. How did it happen? You've heard of 8 Mile? Well, this is 9 minutes, somebody said. That's funny. All right, it's too dark. I apologize. I'm out. I'll do earlier streams. I forgot about the sun going down. God bless you guys. I'll be back soon. Dreamwear.com if you want a black beanie. And thanks for listening. Appreciate you.
Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, Stay Blessed long sleeve, God is Great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. Dreamrare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/raretalk for $5 a month. You can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the dreamrare.com shop and patreon.com/raretalk. So thank you guys for keeping this show free, unimpeded, uninterrupted. I'm forever grateful. My free email list is stayintouchwithme.com. So check the links below in the description or just type in on any browser, stayintouchwithme.com, all one word. You'll find my email list, put it in there, and it's the least annoying email list you'll ever be on. I barely use it because I don't like getting emailed every day or every week. It's annoying. So I don't do it. Stayintouchwithme.com. It helps me take back some power away from big tech. Telegram, t.me/dreamrarechat or @dreamrarechat. Due to censorship, I post all my live stream and videos there. Sometimes I have some bonus content, and I try to give people a heads up when Facebook or YouTube won't. DreamRareChat at Telegram. My Instagram is @DreamRare. Thanks for everybody following there for shorter content. And DreamRareLinks.com, that's DreamRareLinks.com, has all my stuff. My podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, my music on Spotify and Apple, my Rumble page, my BitChute and Gab page. All my links are found at DreamRareLinks.com. Thanks for watching, folks. God bless you. You already know I'll be back with more content soon. Appreciate you.